following Archangel Metatron channel is received via James Tyberonn. It is an Earthkeeper Stargate video production. All copyrights duly reserved 2015. Enjoy. Namaste.
Greetings, Masters. I am Metatron, Angelic of Light, and I am joined in this session by Tyberonn of Crystalline Service. We are asked in this gathering to discuss the year ahead, Year 4 of the New Earth, 2016 in linear chronology. We wish to insert here that what we offer in this channel are probabilities and potentials, based on streams of probable realities within the formatted influence of astronomical gravities, and the mass thought fields of humanity. Let us be clear. No one, no angelic group, channel, seer or individual may fully accurately foretell the future. And to be clear, that is not our intent. Indeed, by definition of laws in place for the duality realm of 3D, the future is ever fluid. The 3D realm is governed by free will, and thus, the resulting manifestation of reality is not fixed in any absolute terms, on any individual level. But we must add, and do take note, there are certain events that are in place, that indeed, humanity, each of you in group format, have sufficiently co-created, and are only separated from their 3D realization, by 3D linear limits, of what you term space and time. These are already inserted into the format you may term as the future, but you, dear ones, created them, and indeed, this is important for you to understand. The belief structures upon which humanity in mass and individually base their lives so program your existence, that often you outwardly deny that which you inwardly know. So we wish to insert the caveat, a point we have made many times, that what you experience is your creation. Yet there are certain occurrences in time, non-time and nature, that are relatively fixed within the laws and physics of the physical realm, and in the field of duality. The ascension of humanity is one of these. And Masters, you are in the midst of fixed change. Your Earth is upshifting, and what is occurring in nature and in human activity, albeit seemingly tumultuous in your current linear time, has purpose. What is occurring in the remainder of 2015, and 2016 and beyond to key years of 2038 and 2075, humanity have chosen, and scripted in highest good. And that is something we are compelled to remind you to understand. For the fear that continues to take root, can in extremes be a disruptive force. It is an unnecessary disruption, which the wise among you, the seekers among you should in this time of transition, choose to wisely release. Do not allow fear to overcome you, for the enlightened among you must stand tall and project the well-being and light of that which is on track. Fear is a natural reaction, and by releasing it, we mean understand what is happening in higher good, and be aware that facing a fear is different from understanding it. In such circumstances the prayer, the intent, the better focus of the prayer, is highest good. The winds, waters and quickening. Dear humans, as hurricanes form and seem to ravage in great and greater intensity and frequency across your planet, we understand the anxiety and heartbreak that often occurs in their wake. And at this specific moment we are aware of the massive hurricane on the western coast of Mexico. And it will have in its shadow and wake a great and subtle clearing. We are aware of the great flooding that has recently taken place in the eastern and western seaboard of California and the Carolinas within the United States, and indeed many regions across the planet. And as heartbreaking as these events can be, and have been, these storms are a complex, yet purposed natural phenomenon. But nonetheless, despite what many of you may know and surmise, They have further intendment, scope and functionality well beyond what you may think or even imagine, which we will discuss in this channel, for these understandings and comprehensions are quite important for you to understand in the quickening energy of the new earth. For by understanding, you may release portions of extreme fear, and align to the higher light of well-being, in knowledge of highest good. And as difficult as these tempests are, please allow us to gently remind each of you that no one experiences these superstorms, in all of their variations, that has not on a higher level chosen to be there. These phenomena of extreme weather, again, are an integral part of the natural earth, an innate part of all life on the living earth. It is so very difficult to not fear their occurrences, yet we tell you that no soul ever departs the earth plane that has not in higher self chosen to do so. And even in the midst of the damage, flooding, injury, loss of life and homes, humanity in the aftermath bond together, rise higher, to assist one another in love and caring compassion. And dear ones, we tell you that although it is seemingly paradoxical, such natural disasters can bring out the best of humankind, and we tell you the living earth, nature, is not unaware of its harmony with mankind. And when such events bring about an expression of higher vibration in humanity, there is benevolent shift in the caring, the reprioritization, and an opportunity to understanding the true value of life, and of time. It is often through such life-changing tempests that humans make hard realizations and adjustments in behavior and focus, changes that provide greater love, greater alignment to compassion. Yes, even within fields of sorrow, there is awakening to higher self. Dear hearts, it is a fact of human evolution in the purposed illusion of duality, that it is often in circumstances of seeming turmoil that you transcend the fear and evolve into higher alignment. It has always been so. Indeed, it has always been so in this purposed illusion of the University of Earth. And Masters, you must realize that as your climate changes in what is termed as global warming, such occurrences will continue in 2016, and well beyond. The polar ice caps will continue to melt, the seas will continue to warm and rise, air and ocean currents will shift, the balance of tectonics will readjust and earthquakes will occur, tsunamis will follow, rain patterns will change, floods, droughts, wildfires, tornadoes and superstorms will persist. The overview. We ask you, dear human, to consider a higher truth that we share herein with you. Masters, these events are part of balance. These are happening regionally in lieu of a global catastrophe. These are occurring to no small degree, because humanity chose to ascend. In the 1987 measurement, that called the harmonic convergence, brought about a shift, a change of what would otherwise have occurred in 1998. For had humanity not have chosen to ascend in the 1987 harmonic convergence, a massive asteroid would have divested much of human life on the planet. But it did not occur. Its probable reality changed, because humanity took the step to ascend without a reboot. So we emphasize that it is in fact humanity's 1987 light quotient measurement and choice to ascend which determined that there will not be a great global cataclysm, a massive destruction on a worldwide arena, followed by a massive extinction, rebooting a new start. In 2012 the planet ascended. It birthed an ongoing upshift that will in fact allow for the ascension of humanity in some 15 to 20 generations. This is imperative that you know, for this knowledge is in your subconscious, and is a source of great accomplishment, of joy. For the earth is cleansing, is upshifting into its new matrix, and the requisite cleansing reformatting will be in smaller localized settings, will occur gradually, and both the Earth and humanity will indeed now graduate further in time, to the next level. Make no mistake, dear ones, the changes to allow the clearing and reformatting will, and must continue, and if the masses were to be duly educated, and open to the stance and vision of higher good, such appropriate changes could be made much more easily, and sooner rather than later. Now, we wish to also add, and please make an effort to understand this explanation. These storms and earth telluric phenomena would be occurring regardless of the choice of human ascension, for these have always taken place, have always followed certain patterns, have always sprung up according to the forces of planetary elements and variation due to physics of the rotating spheres, of and within, the physical earth. But by means of ascension, certain, but not all, placements, frequencies and intensities of natural phenomena, are influenced for clearing and upshifting areas that require upshift. For there is a quickening, a harmonic symmetry within these natural occurrences, which benefits the ascension, benefits the planet and assists mankind in rising into a higher stance. This by providing energetic clearings and an important refocus on the human side, and electromagnetic balancing and upshifting of the planet. And we will explain this in further detail later in this channel. But please note, this is a vast and complex topic, and a topic that is extremely pertinent to 2016, and beyond. But it is complicated, with myriad possibilities if interface, and perhaps surprising aspects, that you may not have previously considered. Remembering. So in this discussion of 2016, we wish to remind you of your relationship with the living earth, and how it is much more closely in harmony with you than many of you realize. There is much you are aware of in nature, but much you have forgotten. It is time to reconsider and adjust your understanding. For although your science is much more advanced than in past centuries, there is still great misunderstanding. Your scientists can accurately predict the time of sunrise and sunset, the timings of equinoxes, solstices and eclipses, years ahead in your future. Your meteorologists are able to offer glimpses in the weeks ahead, of trending weather patterns. In this sense, these are not prophecy, nor channeled predictions. Rather an understanding of the science of movement trends within nature and natural laws. But what mankind largely does not yet understand, in terms of certain natural phenomena as weather, is that your moods and emotions can affect, and to certain degrees influence the weather, just as much as the weather can affect your moods. As an example, we will cite your hurricanes, typhoons and superstorms. As we have emphasized repeatedly, these are one of the very important frequency upshift mechanisms taking place on your planet. Yet these hurricanes, superstorms and such remain greatly misunderstood, and greatly feared. Again the fear. These are truly intended to charge the oceans with magnificent energies. They are not always intended to be drawn to the lands. Hurricanes require water, and dissolve on land. But we tell you some of the hurricanes that otherwise might not be drawn to a specific area, can in some highly charged scenarios, be drawn directly to an area based on human attraction through charged emotion. This in part due to the media frenzy that in current times, accompanies storm pattern predictions. In such cases, is as if the entire world becomes focused on where it will land, and what destruction it may cause, and the media weather experts predict where it will come to shore. Masses, literally millions of humans watch the storm, focus on the fear of it landing in their area, and that attentive focal fear can indeed often pull the storm to the predicted area. by force of great amassed human emotional attraction. And these energetic forces of nature, while not conscious energies, are indeed telluric, temporal aware energies, and can be influenced to varying degrees by the humans who connect to the concentrated energy nucleus of the hurricane in highly charged fear. As we have said, the higher purpose of many of these storms is their ability to increase the energy of the waters and to allow upshifted energetics to electrically expand. If these remain at sea, then the enormous electrical energy is simply transmuted in a relatively safe environment, and conducted as current waves to a very great proportion of the planet. As such, it is conducted to the land and peoples, not by wind and waves, but by its terrestrial energy current, so that it may reach that many more beings. There is a perfection to it, you see. There is what is called the perfect storm in some ways, but the perfect storm is that which the perfect blend of electromagnetic currents contained and provided in the delivery of requisite upshift. As these storms then move through the fields of humanity, they are of benefit for the frequential ascension of the planet, and as such to the entirety of mankind. For indeed there are ongoing changes on the planet, transitions necessary to enable the ascension of humanity. The solar radiation and the storms are part of the transition, currents and purposed movement. Indeed, the storms and floods, quakes and tremors, tsunamis and tornadoes are a part of nature, a part of the earth, and they have an absolute purpose in balancing the earth. Were these not to occur on a regional level, then the imbalances which they electromagnetically correct and rebalance would not be resolved, and as a result, a larger event, an even greater cataclysm would be moved into higher likelihood. So in 2016 and beyond, these will continue. But the intense fear reactions are better abated. Now, the difficulty with many who are well-intended is that they are not in tune, not of a high enough light quotient, to comprehend or accept the true paradigm of the upshift, nor to fully recognize the conscious nature of the living planet. And so such people, while they wish to assist, truly know not how. They believe that to prevent the storm or quake, or to move it elsewhere is better there than here, you see? So in this way, fear reigns. Not all that wish to assist truly understand the greater good, the higher purpose of those events you term super hurricanes, volcanics, earthquakes and tsunamis. So most simply react in fear to these events, and wish to be free of the anxiety. But to dissolve fear is not the same as confronting the greater reality by understanding the fear. Therefore the masses of humankind become charged in fear, and actually reinforce, amplify and recreate it. To dissolve or to dissipate natural events of rebalance and of change is not truly of benefit in the upshift, not to the earth and not to humanity. The difficulty with those that wish to assist and save the planet is that they believe they are more academic in their understanding and know better. Yet they inadvertently omit the divine. They omit the integrity of that termed conscious allied spirit within nature. They do not understand or see the perfection in what takes place because there is great difficulty for those of fear-closed minds or narrow vision to comprehend that all is in perfection, that all is in good order. So then they do not add grease to the squeaky wheel. Rather, they try to block the cogs which then become still and stuck. And so turning with the wheels of transition becomes that much more difficult, you see? Fear and ignorance is the great culprit of closed minds. Wise stewardship. Many are those who wish to save the planet in your terms. But masters, the planet does not need salvation. Humanity cannot destroy the earth, nor the omni-earth. Do not misunderstand. Part of your ascension is the wise stewardship of natural resources and the living kingdoms of the earth. But in many ways, the earth is far more conscious, far more advanced than is humanity at this time. So what is the nature of man's relationship to the living planet? It would be best if the relationships were to be synchronistic and be aware that a truly harmonic dialogue can take place now between the earth and humankind. Those of you who have spent lifetimes as the earth keepers, the indigenous, the druid, the Atlara are to take the lead in such communication. Indeed, many of you such as the channel are here now specifically to hold the energy of these dialogues, and they are occurring. In 2016 and beyond, it is imperative that you be aware that there is a divine plan in place, and nothing that occurs on the planet, be it natural phenomenon or human interaction, is by random happenstance. As much as humanity wish to take on the guilt of global warming, we tell you that the earth at this time of shift would still be undergoing this process even if you were a non-industrialized campestral society. Of course, you must take steps to stop polluting the air, stop cutting down the forests, and stop damaging your water and resources, but the shifting of the earth is not due to mankind's misactions. Rather, the shift is due to mankind's decision to ascend. It is an absolute fact that the increased potency of your hurricanes is due to the warming of the waters. And as much as you humans want to assume the responsibility of global warming, it is not due primarily to your industrialization. As we have said, global warming would occur now even if you were a campestral society. And we say again, do not misunderstand. Environmental pollution from industrial waste and emissions must be brought under control for the health of humanity and the living kingdoms of your planet. But the primary cause of global warming is the increase in spin of the inner molten core of the Earth. The accelerated core spin increases the mass and temperature of the molten iron nickel of the core. The heat generated warms the mantle. The higher spin affects the torque ratio between the inner and outer core in the planet's center interior. These rotate in opposite directions and different speeds. Torque and ratio. It is the very mechanism of this torque and ratio of torque change that is increasing the flash of your time sequence on your planet. It also augments the volume and mass of the inner core that subsequently increases the ionic discharge you term the Schumann resonance. These changes are profound in effect, and are involved in the evolution of your planet and transformation of the planetary matrix. The adjustments are ongoing and require fine-tuning. At present the tuning is not complete, and so there is currently an imbalance within the center of the planet, within the very core, as to how the core spins both clockwise and counterclockwise, and so then there must be a balancing upon the Earth as well. Otherwise, without such balance the Earth cannot truly move into its higher octaves in requisite preparation for receival of higher dimensions that lead to 2038. So ironically, the greater truth unrecognized by the masses of humanity is that without such balancing of the electromagnetics, there would be even more Earth changes. There would be first an earthquake, then the hurricane and tornado to balance, you see? Then another earthquake, then the hurricane and tornado, creating a pattern of its own, which would not be of assistance, not to the Earth and not to humanity. In this way, then, there is an anticipatory energy of how electromagnetics move about the planet, circulating about the new crystalline grid system and then permeating the Earth and then balancing within as well. It is not done to prevent Earth changes, but to bring balance where balance is appropriate. The imbalance, left unadjusted, we assure you, would lead to cataclysm on the global macro scale. Better then that the micro events occur to bring the balance and in so doing prevent the macro you see. The economy, masters, in this time of shift, in the coming year of 2016, Another area of fear is the economic system. Some in your economic media see the roller coaster of economics continuing to surge and fall into areas of great fear and concern. Certain of these have alternative motives for driving fear, either for political motives, or to sell certain stable commodities, or precious metals such as gold and silver. Some among the naysayers align to the fear-based predictions of a total economic collapse. Again the fear. Again the doubt. The anxiety. And on the higher plane, we tell you that economic collapse, the fear of collapse that the naysayers and fearmongers may proclaim, does not serve the planet. Does not align to the path you are on in the new planet Earth of 2016 and beyond. For fear is not the way of conscious creation into higher light. Dear ones, while the economic system must and will change, a total collapse into global chaos would not serve the new Earth. There will be systematic highs and lows, which in the long-term view are rather standard. But a global economic collapse is not the probable outcome. The so-called 1% of money-powered brokers, while greed and power-based, will in fact take measures to prevent, to not allow a systemic collapse. They will prevent it for their own purposes, certainly not from any altruistic principle or stance. But be assured, in time a more equitable system will emerge in the new energy. A new system will form, will evolve, when the populace demand it, when you co-create it. The change into the new system will in time take place, but will take many decades. It will be a gradual process. However, and please take note, on an individual basis those that strongly align to deep fear of economic disaster, may in fact manifest it into their personal experience, for you attract to self that which you fear. Crucible energy and obstacle release. 2016 will continue in the crucible astrological energies, meaning that 2016 in linear flow continues to carry a vibrational wave phase of clearing, of removing obstacles. A time in which unresolved energies will continue to surface in order to be confronted. Of course this occurs in macro and in micro, in mass planetary events and individually. Each of you will face on some level any residues of unresolved conflicts. These should be faced, and not feared. The year end. In your current year of 2015, the world in macro and micro has seemed intensely chaotic. Wars, violence, injustice and the threats of increasing turmoil is surfacing everywhere, facing both in individual and mass scenarios. This will continue into 2016. And many of you are confused by what is occurring. It may seem to you that the world has taken a backward step. You may be doubt-filled and fearful. Some of you may even begin to question the veracity of 2012, and wonder if any form of ascension has truly transpired. We assure you the Earth ascended into 12 dimensions in 2012, and it is the new crystalline matrix of the new planet Earth that will allow for the eventual ascension of humanity. But as we have told you before, the ascension of humanity in mass will not occur for many generations. And again, we of the angelic do indeed recognize that the planet now, at times, and in places, seems to be in a state of utter chaos. Many of you are viewing the turmoil, and are asking why the world seems to be going mad. We assure you the Earth ascended into 12 dimensions in 2012, and it is the new crystalline matrix of the new planet Earth that will allow for the eventual ascension of humanity. But as we have told you before, the ascension of humanity will not occur for many generations. And we recognize that the planet now seems in chaos. Many of you are viewing the turmoil about you and asking why the world seems to be going mad. We have told you that the Christos energy returns to the Earth in 2038. In terms of polarity, this is the energy of light. What is occurring in the present are in part the final throes of the dark energy, innate to duality, in a futile attempt to block the return. And we tell you the return of light will occur and cannot be thwarted. And so a requisite purge must take place and is indeed taking place. The rare energies that lead into 2016 have, in a manner of speaking, opened the cellar door, and that which is termed negative is surfacing. It is akin to lancing a boil, or taking one backward step before taking two leaps forward. 2016 Patterns of Release. Masters. Astrology in its correct application is one of gravitational and electromagnetic waves that influence the human body, physical and the etheric bodies of the mental and emotional matrix. It is real. It is not folklore. We are not speaking about horoscopes, rather about very real waves of energy, which are teeming with frequencies, light and color that affect you by induction and federate patterns. These patterns are vibrations that absolutely will influence you whether or not you accept that they do. However, no influence is greater than the power of will. But by being aware of the influential vibratory patterns, you can more effectively work with and not against the patterns. Accordingly, opportunities can be understood and thus seized, and pitfalls can be wisely avoided. Do you understand? In the new Earth of 2016, the crystalline grid has taken predominance over the magnetic grid, and this, in kind, influences both gravities of planets and stars, as well as the interpretation of light. And a force of influence that plays into this energetic collage is that of divine thought. There are patterns of influence from the collective divine aspect of humanity and that termed universal mind that are injecting specific codes through the crystalline grid into the earth plane at apertures formed in phases of eclipses, solstices and equinoxes. The 2016 pattern of seeming chaos. Accordingly, in 2016, you are in a unique timing in which planetary influences have combined with cosmic forces that are not normally associated to astrological gravities to create a unique and succinctly intense purging in the paradigm of the new Earth. That termed the shadow, the dark side, is in a temporal free flow for a peculiar period of frequential time to bring to the surface repression and frustrations, whether justified or not, to be confronted, viewed and dealt with in the crucible of human experience and manifest reality. That which was hidden or repressed is being percolated to the top. Past transgressions and unresolved conflicts that may have been hidden will surface in this time for facing and responsibly clearing. It is a time of misunderstanding, of overreaction and illusion. It is an energy underscored by extremes in expression of repression. A backlash of frustrations that may be revealed in a squeeze of untoward, even inappropriate venting and releasing that which was in shadow. It is a time of the cosmic crosshairs, with each of you seeming at times perhaps to be in the targeted aim of chaos. It is a time in which differences are highlighted, a time in which deviations and disparities are surfaced into clarity in an intensely divisive aspect of polarity to pave the way for requisite harmony and unification. Divine Purpose. Now, before we close, please allow us to once again remind you that nothing that is happening around you in the present is without purpose. Although opposites, and as such dark energies, exist in duality, good and evil in your terms are purposed illusions. From the higher stance above polarity, opposites do not exist, and everything is part of and leads to the greatest good. Earth is a testing ground, and although the experiences you have in duality are very real to you, such essential lessons are designed for your development of co-creatorship. You are learning, growing, being taught, and you are teaching yourselves to optimally manage energy, to become conscious co-creators with all that is, Creator God in your terms. And one of the stages of development, or learning processes in the University of Duality includes dealing with opposites as realities, with good and evil. And because these opposites exist in duality, it is requisite that you choose good in the path of love. The struggle between light and dark, good and evil is within you all. Some of you exude light. Others of the family of humanity do not as yet. Learning to find unity is part of your curriculum. This represents a unification, and integral whole that you cannot as yet truly grasp in the field of duality because in 3D duality you largely perceive only portions of reality, not the whole. Opposites are real in polarity, and accordingly you must learn to deal with them. Do not misunderstand. Darkness must be confronted and light ever prevail. And although above duality good and evil do not actually exist, they are indeed actualities of 3D, as conditions of existence in your system of reality. In rather simplistic terms, concepts of good and evil will in time serve to teach you the sacredness of existence and the responsibilities of consciousness, and provide guidelines along your path. Closing. Dear Masters, your lifetimes on the planet of duality are over so quickly, and those of you in senior years will easily relate and understand this profound retrospect. Often in your seeking, and in your 3D trials, you overlook the importance of well-being, of happiness. Dear hearts, take time to smell the roses, take time and make the effort to offer kindness to one another, and nurture each sacred moment of this precious life. Do not let the worries, anxieties and frustrations in duality keep you from seeing the beauty. Take time to feel the beauty of it all. Take time to realize that you are powerful spiritual beings wearing biochemical clothes. Tap into the sublime love, the exquisite light that defines all that is. Feel our loving presence, and make an effort to feel your true divinity, and know that you are never alone. Again we emphasize, Masters, to never forget that the earth plane is a purposed illusion. One that humanity collectively co-creates. Meaningfully creates. Humanity in the mirage of the physical world wears filters that separate you from your higher self. You often feel so lost, so separated, so alone. In all of your searching you will eventually find that the only thing that makes all of this bearable is loving one another. Love. And love requires strength, for it is a complex science, not just an emotion. Love is the key. Love is the alchemical frequential elixir that makes everything eventually fall into place. Duality is the exception, not the rule. Physical matter occurs in less than 7% of the cosmos, and only in 3D duality do opposites exist. Yet there is great and greater purpose in what you do in the University of Duality. In the interesting world of free will, you are capable of such beautiful dreams and such horrible nightmares. But this is the way of discovering your divinity, your true roles as responsible creators of your fascinating reality. The earth plane is an illusion, but a very real one. We again remind you that the emotions, the pain, the lessening, all feel very real because if they did not, you would not grow. But it is the beautiful moments, the love that will define and underscore your memories. It is the love that will last eternally. In the present remaining phase of 2015, and in the coming year of 2016, you are in the midst of crucible astrology. All unresolved energy is surfacing. It is surfacing in order to be cleansed. So amidst the tribulations, take solace in the fact that all in time will be resolved, and sooner rather than later. You have come far, pilgrims. And you are on the cusp of a great graduation, one you have worked many lifetimes to complete. Despite what the naysayers may tell you, The Earth and humanity are on track. New tools are available for you to responsibly create a better world. It is essential that you know this, and project positive light. For your light will brighten the world, one heart at a time. Let us tell you that this all will have a happy ending, and let us assure you again, with certainty, absolute certainty, that life is divine, and free will is a magnificent pathway of growing into creative godness. So we will tell you that the ascension is a new beginning. And in 2016, the Earth continues further into the new format that will allow for humanity's ability to rise lucidly, further ascend consciously into higher dimensions. The new Earth now carries a matrix through the crystalline grid that is absolutely enabling humanity to be more aware of their true nature within multidimensionality. But to emphasize, the fear should be released. Fear leads to doubt, and doubt leads to confusion and apathy. We tell you all is on path, the sky is upshifting, not falling. Quite the contrary, the heavens are opening. We assure you that a new sun has dawned, and it is indeed the sun of change. It brings the light of the magnificent new Earth. And dear ones, we do mean magnificent. In this new era, it is incumbent upon the seekers, the Earth keepers and light workers, to project joy, to project light, for in the expansion to crystalline harmonics, every photon of mental light you project is exponentially amplified. And this occurs more rapidly in the new energy of 2016. So your roles take on a new importance, a greater benevolence, as your creation powers increase in that termed the Aquarian shift. The Earth movements, the cleansing, the seeming chaos and intensities are not without purpose. But those of you of light will also be able to utilize the shifting energies on the planet for co-creating the world of love, of humanity's ascension. And remember that ascension occurs one heart at a time. What you do individually and how each of you reacts adds to the collective. I am Metatron, and I share with you these truths. You are beloved. And so it is. And it is so.